Well, as you can see in this video, what we have here is, I believe, quite an unusual piece. It's a child's dry sink. I bought this at an auction. It was painted all white. And as you can see, we started hand stripping it. And it's an early item, as you can see by the door. It has a mortise and tenon joint. It's got the early type metal slide latch, which is usually around the 1880s or so. And as you can see, I bought this fairly cheap. It was $80. We started stripping it, and I'm going to give a demonstration on how to dry strip an item with a heat gun. And the one thing that really stood out for me as it sat on the auction block, that I could see the old red underneath. The color may not show up too well in this video, but the old red is there, and you can see we're preserving it quite well. That was one of the items that caused my wife and I to bid on this, and I would have went up quite a bit higher just due to the old paint. And for those who are not aware of it, any of the country primitive type antiques that had the original paint, which is usually the old red, the blue, the mustard, it increases the value quite a bit. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say it doubles the value, but it definitely puts it up there high. And another one of the issues besides the paint, if you look at the feet, you can see they were rotted off. There's a little bit left there, and I will give a little demonstration on how to save those feet. Usually what I do is square it off, and the wood on this is poplar, and I will try to add probably just a couple inches of poplar to the bottom. And of course this will devalue the item a little bit, but being that it's just on the bottom, if I can do a good job of using some old red and a special mix to cover it up, most people aren't going to care. And especially an item like this. This is really really nice. I've started in antiques over 35 years ago, and I've never had one like this ever. I've never even seen one. A child-sized dry sink. And if you look around on this side, we already hand stripped that with heat, and it's about ready to go. Shortly here we will give a demonstration of what to do. I had started refinishing furniture probably about 35 years ago. I used to have what's called a flow-over system, and you'd put the item in the tank, and you would pour a stripper over the item with a chemical pump and hose, and it would eventually dissolve the paint, and you take it out and high pressure wash it. And from that point, you need to rinse and then finish it. But this here was a good example of how you can try to save the original paint. And I will get back into some details on this. And while we're in here, I'll let you see some of my projects. The place is a pig pen. You can see right there I have an old phone booth. It's in pieces. I hope to restore that. Here's a spinning wheel we got just a few weeks ago. We have a very early cradle over here. It's quite interesting. And there's a Victorian table, and as many of you might know, Victorian is down terribly, the price. And there is the heart of the operation, my dirty workstation. And there's an item there. This is something 35 years ago I wanted to haul for free. But now it's selling. I call it Depression furniture. It's from the 1920s and 30s. It was made quite well. It's got a nice design. It kind of has a Federal or a Hepplewhite type look. It's simple and plain. It'll even fit in with contemporary. But I'm going to end this now, and we'll come back and give you a live demonstration.